Now, as we have seen the basic concept of economics, amongst which is opportunity cost, this concept has various importance. But before we see the importance, let us explore the definition of opportunity cost so that we have something in our mind. Now, opportunity cost is defined as the amount of other goods and services which could have been obtained instead of any good. If you can remember from the example of the student's scale preference, there are some goods that could have been bought, that is the shirt and the trouser, at the expense of other goods. But these shirts and trouser were not obtained. Why? Because of the scarcity of the resources of the student. Now, any individual person is faced with this concept or problem, that is opportunity cost, or even if it is a business or the government at large. There is no time when all our needs can be satisfied. Definitely we have to make sacrifice. So that process of making sacrifice is what we call opportunity cost. Since we say that opportunity cost involves making sacrifice in affording to buy a good at the expense of another, definitely it has one importance. Opportunity cost describes a stance of an individual in terms of goods and services they could afford. So as we have seen in the case of the student, he has a variety of needs, but among the needs there are some that he left unsatisfied just to satisfy other needs. Now, the ones that he left unsatisfied tries to tell us information or tries to give us an information about that student. That means what kind of resource does he have? So an individual that is faced with a variety of needs can engage in getting opportunity cost. So if the individual satisfies needs and leave others, that is, he satisfies some needs and leave others, definitely that individual will know his stance, or any person that is close to that person will know his stance financially, because it is trying to give us an information about that person, whether he is rich, he is poor, or he is average. So from that same example of the student, we can understand that the student is not rich, but he is not also poor, because he could afford to buy at least more than half of the needs, while the remaining only 2 needs that he could not afford to buy. So any person that has needs, and for example, the person just tried to satisfy 1 or 2 while leaving others because of the scarcity of his resources, that person can be said to be poor, depending on his financial stance. Now, as we have seen, opportunity costs affect a firm. We have started from an individual person from the very low level, and we have seen how it has effects on the business. Now, opportunity cost does not stop there. It also has effects on government. Government at all levels, whether the local level, state level, or federal government, depending on the situation. Now, a government has to spend resources in terms of its daily activities or operation. It also have to pay the staff or the workers, and it has to implement projects. Now, it is up to the government to decide which expense will give her more satisfaction than other, which one is the most, so that it has to devote its resources toward that need than the others. For example, as we have seen, the government has to take care of its operation. So the government cannot work without governance. That means it has to take care of the operation. So it cannot function without what we call the overhead. Government operation, that is another most important one, which is staff salary. So government has to pay for the workers. then finally project. So if the government faces challenges in terms of resources, that government must make sure that it takes care of the first and second items while leaving the last one until it has more of resources. So here, what I'm trying to say here is the project that is left unsatisfied is the opportunity cost to the government at the expense of the operation and staff salary. So it is up to the government to decide which needs has to be satisfied and which one can be left until after some time. Then the government will satisfy these needs.